Welcome to the evening news. It's all about video, audio, lights, editing equipment and accessories. Chibbidi-dobbidi, bam! Welcome to the channel. This is part 2 of the episode, what gear we use to produce videos and for content creation here at Creators Corner in Graz. As promised, I'm going to break down everything we use, and to be honest, I started as a total noob, didn't know anything about cameras and lenses. I've heard of shutter speed and focal length, but never understood what it meant. And I didn't know, still sometimes don't know, why and when to use different lenses and different kinds of lenses. Up front, there's not one single perfect answer to the question. It's just about the equipment we use. And we're constantly cross and upgrading or changing as we learn. There are so many different types of cameras and brands that make good cameras. And thanks to Flo and Tom that gave me great advice and supported me on choosing the right equipment. But now back to what equipment do we actually use. It's all about Veil Plus, which means video, audio, lights, editing equipment, plus all this accessory stuff like memory cards and card readers I showed you last time. My script, by the way. Power supply and batteries. But here in the studio, I try to operate everything wired, so we never run out of batteries. Hard disk and servers. A RAID system, which is very useful. A RAID system appears on your computer like one space of storage, but it is made of, I think, at least 2 hard disk drives, mostly 4 or 6 or even 8 hard disk drives. So if one crashes, nothing is lost. Stands, of course. Already shown you my Gorilla Pod in the last episode. A friction arm. So everything is loosened, and with one screw everything gets tightened up. It was a lie, I need a second screw. Maybe a drone to shoot extra footage, which is called B-roll. And of course, tons of mounting accessories, things you need to set up the scene, like a backdrop, props, maybe even furniture, like this desk, electrically height adjustable. But now finally, let me show you an overview of all the real equipment and pieces of gear we use here in the studio. It's needed to be said that this studio setup is a always ready to shoot setup. So you can just come in, turn everything on, and you're good to roll. And we're producing various forms of videos like webinars, explanation videos, music videos, interviews, podcasts, photo shootings, unboxings, funny stuff, and vlogs, of course. First of all, you need cameras. Remember the V from Veil stands for video. Of course, you need cameras to shoot videos on. We've got 2 Canon R5s. One I usually take with me. One which is usually the baaam over there. And we've got one Canon C70 that's right now pointing at me. The C70 is on a tripod with a trolley. The baaam R5 usually is on an Edelchrome slider. And the R5 I take with me is usually on my Gorilla Pod. Of course, you guessed it! And there are also some other cameras. We've got an older Canon M50. That's the first camera I started with. And a GoPro Hero Black, I think version 8. And sometimes we use a cell phone like my iPhone 12, I guess. Also for B-roll and overhead shots. all these lenses, and there's still one missing. My favorite, and I guess it's the best lens we have, a Canon RF 28-70. It's right now mounted on the Canon C70. So what do we have here? Mostly Canon lenses, except these two. These are all RF lenses, because the R5 and C70 have an RF mount. The mount is the way you attach the lens to the camera, and this system is the mounting system here. And there are different types of mounting systems with different names. And the Canon M50 has an M mount. To use an EF mount lens like this with a Canon M50 with an M mount, you need an adapter from EF to M mount. Put it between the camera and the lens. So what else do we have? A 50-45 Canon M mount lens for the M50. The 50mm, 50-35mm, 24-105mm, 24-70. And these are all zoom lenses, which means you can zoom in and out to go further from the object or nearer to the object. And this and the Sigma lens, this 50mm, there's a special term for the 50mm lens. It's called the Nifty 50, because because it's quite handy and very, very light, super useful. And the Sigma, which is a 20mm lens, these are prime lenses with a fixed focal length, so you can't zoom in or out. Mostly those prime lenses have better quality on the one hand, or they are smaller and lighter because there's not so much tech in it. And this one is a very special lens. It's a Laowa probe lens, which makes it possible to shoot between small things and where small spaces only are opened. To show you what the difference between all those lenses is, we're gonna make a comparison at the end of the video. To put those EF mount lenses on the cameras we have, we need those adapters from EF to RF mount. Last not least, because it's very important to me, we use a teleprompter, but it's not mounted today because this is the first episode I'm trying to speak without a word-for-word script. Audio equipment. So when it comes to audio, of course, first you need is a microphone. These shotgun mics, as they're called, because they're long and thin like a shotgun, probably, are useful when you try to record a sound source that's quite a bit away from your microphone and you want to be sure that other noises from the room aren't recorded. But we've got also other microphones. This is kind of a shotgun mic, a very small one, which is mounted onto the top of the camera with a dead cat. And this thing is really called dead cat because it just looks like a dead cat when it's lying around. It's used to reduce wind noises. I'm gonna show you with this mic. Just listen. And now with... Heard the difference? Then we have got several wireless microphones. A very tiny, like Playmobil microphone, which is attached to a shirt. The cable goes into the sender, and this is the receiver that receives the signal from the sender, which could be mounted on top of the camera, like this. This is another type of microphone, also wireless. This is a handheld microphone. It's a bit bigger as a wireless edition because there's space for a battery, just to hold it in hands. On stage, you've probably seen that. You could connect the microphone directly into the camera. We have a mixing desk here at the studio. Over there, it's a Tascam M12. 6 mono and 2 stereo channels, and some handy extras like inserts, only 2 for channel 1 and 2. It has a built-in compressor for every channel. There's an equalizer to every channel separately, and all channels together can be recorded internally. And you can also connect the mixer to a computer. There are built-in effects like reverb and choruses. There's one special function that comes with this mixing desk. It's a mix minus function, which prevents feedback loop when recording an external caller from a phone. Last but not least, talking about audio, you could need a bit of acoustic treatment, like we have here in the studio, acoustic panels that are movable, and an acoustic ceiling for good audio. Light equipment. Sometimes overseen that you need tons of light to make good videos, which is not a big problem outside because the best light is the sunlight and the best diffuser is a cloud. But here in the studio we do have tons of lights like these Aperture Light Storms 300X. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit! No hair light on. Let me show you what it looks like. It looks so much nicer with a hair light, which is this light that appears here on my shoulder and the hair, all changeable with an iPad app. Main left off, main right off, main left on, main right on. And some smaller lights, let me show you. Like these ones, like these. I prefer Aperture lights because they're all linked in the Citus Link app and can be controlled over the app. 6% brightness, 20% brightness, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100% brightness. Red, yellow, green, blue, darker blue, purple, pink, yellow, and so on. And these kinds of lights are also used to make the scene look nice. Everything in the background you see, the color comes from lights. It's actually just a white wall. And for the really nice look, you can use light change. And another one, small light bulbs. Finally, you need something, a computer or an iPad to edit your footage on. We do have an Apple iMac Pro. Lara edits in Premiere, Adobe Premiere Pro, and also Nina at least is using After Effects. And I'm editing on my MacBook M1 Max lying over there, fully maxed out because I'm also using it to record my songs in the recording studio. And I use a ton of virtual instruments and plugins, so I really need the power. Of course, also for editing 4K and 8K video. That's it. Coming to the lens comparison. On the C70, we have now a Canon RF 28-70mm lens. By the way, if you want to sound like a pro, don't call it a lens, just say glass. And we're now going to compare this lens with all the other lenses we have in here and leave the settings on a camera exactly the same all the time. This is the nifty 50 look. This is the original look of the probe lens without any additional light. And of course, this lens needs way more light than other lenses because its aperture is that small. Well, so far we've come to the end of today's episode. And there's just one more information I want to give you. If you wonder what all the gear and equipping the room with the rail system and all the furniture and electricity cost, take a guess. It's about the incredible amount of $70,000. We primarily invested all that money so we can produce the videos for our clients. And I'm the lucky guy who can use it to do what I love. And now, bam, the subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate it. See you next time. Tschüss und Baba.